Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be listening to Nightwish perform Nemo. I've never heard this piece before. I'm very, very excited. Just before we jump in, if you want your recommendations bumped up to the top of the list, don't forget to check out Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon, both of which are linked in the video description. You can think of Buy Me a Coffee as kind of a tip jar, and Patreon is where you can get exclusive behind-the-scenes content.
Hei! Siinä toi kaveri, kun kirjoitti biisin riffi. Koko biisi. Herra Tuomas Holopainen!
Okay. Really nice. This is a beautiful song. I've never ever heard this before. It's my first time ever listening to it. It's got a nice melody. It's catchy, and I love the fact that when Thomas started playing, he got a little bit of that melody and the crowd reacted. So I'm guessing, and please let me know if this is right, I'm guessing that this is one of the iconic Nightwish pieces that everybody knows. I don't know. This is obviously an older version of Nightwish. This video was posted in 2018, but I'm guessing this is probably from like 2005, 2006 era. But beautiful song, really nice, really interesting lyrics. So I had to do one bit of research before. Typically, I don't do anything because I'm like, I want a blind reaction. I want to go in this knowing nothing. But Nemo, it's not Nemo, I don't think. It says the name Nemo comes from Latin meaning nobody or no name. So that's going to, I think, give me a little bit more context. This is me forever, one of the lost ones, the one without a name, without an honest heart as compass. This is me for forever, one without a name. These lines, the last endeavor to find the missing lifeline. And then the chorus, oh, how I wish for soothing rain. All I wish is to dream again. My loving heart lost in the dark, for hope I'd give my everything. So as always, the poetry is stunning in Nightwish. And that was, I think, one of my big revelations and big discoveries with Nightwish as I kind of went down this journey was I discovered, and it took a little bit of time, if I'm being completely honest, because I was so taken with the sound and the musicality and all of those things. But after a few videos, I started to realize how deep this actually goes, how deep metal really is. And I often say, as a classical musician, I perform pieces and I learn about this poetry set to music, right? And I thought that kind of ended with the classical period, because if you think of like pop music today, it's a little bit bland, but it was so refreshing to go down the path of metal, Nightwish in particular, just to discover how poetic it really is. And I'm sure as we go through, we'll learn more about what the poetry means and how it's all reflective in the music and the whole sort of performance. Nightwish fans, answer me this. Does Thomas always play with a keyboard at such an intense angle? I don't know if that's the standard when you're doing these live performances for pianists. I don't think I've ever looked that closely. Of course, in Ghost Love Score, he had the keyboard, but it was this like massive organ thing. And I know it was all prop, but it's a very downward angle, and I guess I've never played like that before, because I do play quite a lot of piano, and I'm used to everything being flat, of course. But that's a very steep angle to play at. But he plays it really well. But listen to how this crowd comes in when Thomas starts, and he gives us the start of this piece, how they react. There it is. Yeah. And I've said this before too. Nightwish fans, at least the ones that I've seen at these concerts, metal fans are musical. They clap on the right beat. They're not rushing, they're not slowing down. And then when they realize that he's going to do something out of time, guess what? They stop. That's really good. That's musical people. We love it. So then Tarja's going to come out in this flaming red dress. It's really a statement. And she comes in with these nice, crisp, and clean vocals. Yeah, I think she's good at spitting out the text because her sound lives in the very front of her face. It's not, at least at this point in this video, she's not showcasing the full scope of her dynamics, but she's kind of living in the front of her face, right? So it's good on a verse because typically in songs, verses contain the most text, and then the chorus is the one that kind of blows you away with a beautiful melody or something like that, or just less text, less stuff going on, right? But she comes in, guns blazing, fiery red dress, cool microphone that matches her outfit. Pretty iconic, if I do say so myself. That was really nice. So, with Thomas, it's going to be complex when you open the hood of the car and you actually look at all the different elements, but it's still going to be really pleasing to the ear and easy to listen to. And that was, again, one of my things with metal. I was a little scared of it because there was just so much sound coming at me, but actually I was wrong. And it's very easy to listen to, and it's very pleasant. I like what they did. We're going to go back a little bit more, but I love what they did just in this last section here, where they kind of just let Tarja do her thing, and the vocals became the priority. The texture of the rest of the band really thinned out. And that seems to be something that they do quite a fair bit, which I like. I like a lot. When they want to emphasize a certain part of text, they bring everything else down, and then the voice becomes the forefront. So that was for "Oh How I Wish," for "Soothing Rain," "How I Wish to Dream Again," "Once and for All," and "All for Once," "Nemo," "My Name Forevermore." So you're just kind of saying, my name is nameless. And that's it's such a cool concept. And many of you have called Thomas the metal Mozart, but Mozart didn't write his own text, so maybe he's got the leg up there. Okay, I'm going to go back to verse 2 because there was a harmonic shift as soon as the text changed. So we get something where walk the dark path, sleep with angels, call the past for help. So in that moment, we kind of moved into something a little different. See if we can find that. It even does a thin texture there just to emphasize this is really important text here. So did you hear that? You hear that shift? I want to hear it one more time just to drive the point home. Sleep or walk the dark path, sleep with angels, right? That's a different kind of text here. So we have a different kind of harmony. Here we go. Nice. So not only does the rest of the band come down, but then Tarja pulls away to end this phrase so beautifully. That's vocally, that's a hard thing to do, to end your phrases with a nice round finish rather than a sort of a punchy end. That's hard to do, especially when you're singing with so much power and you're singing with so much intensity and the need for support. To end the phrase, that's hard. And that's one of the things I work on with my students all the time, to just round off the ends of their phrases. I also think, and you can feel free to disagree with me, but if we're talking about no name and you feel like you don't have maybe an identity, maybe there's a loneliness there, I'm kind of getting some vibes of loneliness, then it makes sense that there's moments for the singer, who oftentimes represents the character of whoever's singing the piece, which sometimes is a reflection of Thomas and his life. There's a lot that goes on. But if we're talking about loneliness, it makes sense to have these moments of really thin texture where the singer just feels like they're kind of on their own. Because that reflects kind of what we're singing about. If it was really positive, happy, full texture the whole time, it wouldn't quite fit this idea of loneliness or identity crisis or whatever we're talking about, right? In some cases where they're singing about the deep blue ocean and the waves crashing and the devil fighting you and all that kind of stuff, then in those moments, it's heavy intensity. But in this, there's moments of quiet, which I think reflects the loneliness. Oh yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So I think what's really intriguing to me and it's one of the things I love about metal and I like about this song in particular is it's up for interpretation of how you want, what pathway do you want to go down? So I can see that you could interpret this in kind of a more sad way, perhaps, but I'm kind of interpreting it as, okay, I'm a no name, and I'm a no name forever, pretty much. But I don't know. There's a hopefulness and positivity, especially in that like long play out that they had. It was lively, it was energetic. That I felt like Thomas is saying, yes, maybe I'm a no name, or maybe there's some healing to do for me, but I'm not alone, and I'm not going to be alone. Like there's a interpretation that you can make on your own if you want. And I like to kind of go with the more positive, more hopeful kind of feeling as we go through. Cool, right? Like it's not just one answer. And you could listen to this 10 times and maybe your opinion and your answer would change 10 times. And that's kind of the magic of metal, is that there's so much room for interpretation and you just think your own thoughts. It's really kind of cool. Whereas some songs in some genres are like, I broke up with my gal and that sucks. So I'm going to go smoke a pipe on my porch. And that's not quite as stimulating. My favorite musical part, believe it or not, is really, really short and really tiny. And it's the bridge. It's when she sings Nemo sailing home, Nemo letting go. So I thought that was the most beautiful moment of the whole thing. Yes. So you know how I love a complete package. I've talked about this all the time. Like I love the music and the vocals and all that stuff, but also the presentation of whatever the video is. In live performances, the focus is not on the videography by any means, but isn't it cool how we get Nemo sailing home? And it's like really slow-mo. What do they do with the video? They slow it way down. So this is a cool opportunity for Talia to really sing this long phrase and these long notes, because throughout the piece, she doesn't really get a chance to do that. A little bit in the chorus, but not too much because there's a lot of text to get through. So it got to show off her beautiful voice that we heard in the Phantom of the Opera, when that was one of my first initial reactions to Nightwish. I think she might have been my first Nightwish reaction. And she had ample opportunity to sing long phrases. But this is another chance for her to do that. Really, really beautiful voice. And I'd love for you to share with me your thoughts on this performance, what you think of Talia, what you think of this era of Nightwish, maybe this era compared to current era, because there's been some turnover in multiple parts of the band. There's a lot of history there. Maybe you see them as two different bands. Maybe they're two different groups. Maybe every lead singer that's come in, you've seen it as a different ensemble. That's totally possible too. But whatever, the common denominator with every Nightwish performance is that there's a lot of meaning behind what they do. And there's a lot of intention in how they perform, but the music itself is carefully thought out. I have the same compliments to give in musical theater when I analyze musical theater performances and look at the composers and what they do, how every decision, every note, every measure, every rest, every word was carefully placed and thought out. And metal is absolutely like that, especially Thomas and Nightwish. It's another level of brain power. And because of that, you feel it so much more. It's quite amazing, if I'm being totally honest. Another amazing performance by Nightwish. Just absolutely fantastic. So nice to hear Talia's voice again. Haven't done a lot of her on this channel, so I think I need to do a bit more. Don't forget to leave your comments, your thoughts, your opinions, everything in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to check out Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon, both of which are linked in the video description. Enjoy some of the videos that are about to pop up on your screen, and I'll see you in the next video.